Okay, so I've got a Vevor 9 kilowatt sauna heater, and the symptom was that it was heating up much slower than normal. Normally it would heat up maybe within, depending on the temperature, it would heat up to full heat, maybe 110 degrees Celsius within like an hour to an hour and a half. And probably more like an hour and a half, usually if it's cold out. And so I let it sit for an hour and a half. It was cold out while it was heating up. And what I found is that it was taking, it after about an hour and a half, instead of getting up to 110 degrees Celsius, it had only gotten up to about 75 degrees Celsius. And so I figured something went wrong. So I figured I would come out here today when it's not hot. And of course I disconnected all the, I turned off the fuse from the house that comes out to the sauna, and also the fuse in the sauna itself, so that there's no power coming to this, because we don't want to be in here when there's any power. And I've started taking the rocks out now. There was more rocks in here when I started, but since I had already diagnosed what the problem was, I figured I would get the video going here and show you what was wrong. And basically, what had happened was the center, so two of the coils, I could actually see when the sauna was on that two of the coils were heating up, this one here and this one here. Or maybe you want to call them heating elements or coils, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But the center heating element, which goes right through the center here, is broken into pieces, and you can see it looks like it melted somewhat. And so that has to be removed. And so I'm going to remove all the rocks from this, and then we'll take that out. So as I'm taking the rocks out, I just thought it was interesting to note the difference in appearance between the old rocks and the new rocks. So, and I'm not really replacing the rocks right now, but I do have some brand new rocks over here on the right that haven't been used yet. Those are straight from the sauna rock mines in Finland. And then over here, the reddish colored rocks have been used for one season in my sauna, and have had lots of water dumped on them. I assume that the red color is actually probably mostly just iron from the water, and they still work fine. But it's interesting to see the nice dark black rocks versus the more oxidized looking rocks over on the left. And so I guess, some people suggest that it's a good idea to to not use well water on your sauna rocks. That would just be too much trouble for me not to use it, but if you have that option, I guess that probably might be a better option, and maybe your rocks will look better after one season. Okay, so I finished taking the rocks out, pretty much. I'm going to have to take that shelf out at the bottom there, too, to get the few that fell down below. But this is, by the way, the shelf right here. It's kind of stuck in there, so I'm going to grab some gloves and get a little better grip on it. Pull it out. It's kind of cold right now. So. And then you can see that the coils here are okay still. The back coils are okay. And the middle coil is all missing a whole bunch of parts here. It's got the two side parts of it, and the center parts are all missing. And some of it fell down below, and some of it I picked out as I was taking it apart. Here's some of the pieces of the coil or heating element, or whatever you want to call it. So in order to unplug this, again, I'm going to take that shelf out down there at the bottom. I'll remove the last remains of the coil that fell down there, as well as the rocks that fell down there. And then underneath the sauna heater, I'm going to undo the little panel down here, and I'm going to unscrew. There's two screws that hold the heating element in there, or the coil in there. So I will do that, and then I have a new coil or heating element to put in there. And you can see the other elements. This one here is pretty bent. I don't know how that happened. Probably maybe the rocks were putting a little too much pressure on it at one point. This one is less bent here. Looks pretty good. But they're all a little bent. If you look at them straight on, you can see they don't stay exactly straight. They get, probably when they're really hot, they move around a little bit. And I suspect that this one just maybe moved too much, and probably a rock pushed on it. You know, there's a lot of pressure from those rocks. It probably pushed on it too much and just broke it while it was super hot. Just guessing though. Okay, so I lifted that shelf out of there, and the way I did it was just to stick my hands down in there on both sides, this side and this side, and pull it up. And it came out. Actually, I told you wrong. I pulled from this side and this side, I think. I don't remember now. But anyway, it comes straight up and out. It just rests on those shelves. You don't have to undo any screws or anything. But it was very difficult to get out. And when it did come, it came with a jolt. And good thing I had some gloves on, because if I hadn't, I would have ripped my hand open on the side of that thing. You can see here the glove itself ended up with a pretty good tear from scraping against the metal. So wear gloves if you take that shelf out. And now I'm ready to go down below, and you can see I'm working with flashlights here because I have all the fuses off. And alright, so I'm below it now, and you can see there's this thing here that's held on by two screws. The screws are right here and right here, but I've already removed them. I don't know if you can see it. They're right on the back edge of the thing. And then you can pull this back. Yeah, let me see if I can get a little further back view. Okay. So I pulled back the cover, and there's the wires inside. I have some these rubber things that are on top of the wires are a fireproof wire cover that I bought separately, and it did not come with the sauna heater, but I got them because I felt like these wires were experiencing a lot of heat, and it looked like they could use them. So they were not very expensive and very easy to put on. So now I'm going to find the screws, and I don't know how well you can see this. I can't hardly see what I'm doing here, but on the bottom of each of these set of coils, there's a place where there is a screw. I'd like to show it to you. But the screw is actually right in the center between the two wires. So mine is the middle one. It's right here. You can't really see it, but I can feel it right here. And I'm going to put a screwdriver in there. It's a Phillips screwdriver, and take that out. And then the whole coil should come out from the top, or the heating element. And we can put a new one in. Okay, so I took the screw out, and the other thing that I should have mentioned is that I also need to disconnect the coil, or the heating element, from the wires, and that's really easy. All you gotta do is just pull on those things there. Hopefully you can see what I just did there. I just pulled on these two wires, and came out, and then that plate came out. There's a little plate that came out too here, and we are now ready to go up to the top, and And we will, oh, shoot. Okay, so one other thing I forgot to mention is that when you do this, you want to make sure that you pull off the wires that are on the heating element, and they just pull right off. And I took the screw out, and so now we come up to the top here. And by the way, when I took the screw out, there's just one screw, and there's also a plate. And this plate, I think, is just to put on it to maybe to make it so that water doesn't come down into the electrical section as much. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to hold on to that and the screw so I don't lose them. And I'm going to remove the heating element now. Put my glove back on. So just get right out here. And there it is. It came out with no problem. And so there are some more pieces of it down here of the coil. It got down into the bottom here. I'm not sure if it's worth trying to get them all out or just leave them because they're hidden by this heat shield here. So this is a heat shield that keeps that stands just above, about 2 inches above the piece of metal that separates the electrical part from the coils. And then there's the shelf also. So there's actually 3 pieces of metal that separate the rocks from the electrical section, which is probably good because it gives you some airspace so that the electrical stuff doesn't get too hot. All right, so now I'm going to go get the new electrical coil or heating element, and we'll stick it in there. Okay, so I have the new coil here, and you can see the old one and the new one. They're the same basic size and shape. This had the same number of turns in it, and it's got the same little connectors down there on the bottom, and those wires have little tabs on the end that will connect onto these brand new connectors. So I'm just going to lower that into the sauna heater. And in case you're interested in seeing, this one has a little marking on it there. I don't know if you can see that or not. This one says Finnleo, Finnleo. So this one actually came from Vevor as part of the warranty on the product. But you can also just get them. You can also just get them without a warranty, not through Vevor, but through other places. Okay, so I lowered that into the thing, and there's 2 little holes down there that you could just barely see. And I had to actually move some debris out of the way from the broken coils and rocks to be able to see the 2 holes, and then I lowered the 2 prongs into the 2 holes there. And now I will grab my my little cover that goes on the bottom, and you can see where the screw is on this side, so this will go facing up with the indented side facing up and the protruding side facing down. And then I'll stick the screw in there, and then I'll just plug in those wires back into the coil. And by the way, it doesn't really matter which side of the coil the wires plug into. And then I'll put all the rocks back in, and this project will be done. So as I was putting it back together, putting the rocks back in, that is, the other coil broke. The second coil broke here. The wires are still attached. This one was still working, but I guess it was just in bad shape and couldn't take the stress of even putting the rocks back in. But anyway, I'll unscrew that down below. And actually, this gives me a chance to show you a couple other things that I didn't get to show you, and that is that you can actually remove this bottom plate here that covers the bottom of the bottom. Okay, so you can remove that bottom plate just by bending it a little bit, so it slides in and out on the bottom of the heater. You can also just, if you just bend it slightly, which it bends real easily, it'll just come right out from the grooves that it's in, and then you can put it back in the same way. So looking down here on the bottom, you can see more clearly where the screws are on this back one. I've already removed the wires, and you can see how it comes off here. It's pretty simple. You just take this screw off, and nice if there was a little more room for my hands to get in here between the conduit. Alright, there it goes, it came right off. And now that thing is loose, and I'll just have to find that screw. Okay, so I've got the replacement here for the second coil, and this one's a different type. This one didn't come from Vevor. I just bought it from Walmart.com, and it's not made by Finleo. It doesn't have any stamp on it, but I did check the screw, and the screw fits in that little hole there. And the size is exactly the same. It's got the same number of bends, and it's rated at 3,000 watts. Or 3,000... yeah, I guess it was 3,000 watts. So I'm going to stick it into the hole down there. The two holes. And then we'll go ahead and screw that back in, and then I can reload the stones. And I'm almost thinking maybe I should replace this one too, but since the other one broke while I was putting it back together, but I'm not sure. I think I'll look at it a little more carefully. I do have some extra ones downstairs. They're the ones, again, more that I had ordered from Walmart.com. And I do see some corrosion here on this one, but yeah, I think I'll just leave it in. Hopefully it'll be okay.